Are you expecting God's goodness in your life? When you go out the door, are you looking like this? Like, okay, come on, Lord. All right, all right. I'm waiting. I'm expecting. Are you expecting? Yes. Or are you like, oh, man, what kind of day this is going to be? You're expecting the negative. You know, fear, which is the same as faith, just on the opposite end. When you fear, you having faith for the negative. You're expecting something to go wrong. Well, I'm just afraid that I'm getting a car accident. You're expecting to get in a car accident. See the difference? Are you guys hearing me? All right, all right. Okay, I'm just go ahead and take their time too, okay, Pastor? I'll just kidding. Come on, brother, I'm not going to do that. Romans chapter 1, verse 17, in the Berean Study Bible says, "For the gospel reveals the righteousness of God that comes by faith from start to finish. Just as it is written, the righteous, or the just, shall live by faith." It's not asking you to, it's saying you will live by faith. You will. If you're not righteous, you won't. You will live by faith. Live by faith. Not by what you can do, not by your own resources, your own contacts. Brother David Ellis is here, not because of my contacts whatsoever. My arms don't reach that high. I'm actually being very serious. But I got them now. No. By faith is how we live. Stop counting on yourself to get things done. Stop counting on your effort. It's by faith, saints. It's by faith. And God is not a respecter of persons. You know, the Bible says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. What does that mean? That simply means that even though I've been in the Word my whole life, you can pass me up. You can study the Word, meditate on it, and get a revelation in a way that just comes. You know Andre Crouch? He got saved, got anointed. He never played the piano before in his life, right? Am I right? And he just started to play. I thought you were a pianist. I thought you guys would know that. Don't you guys all know each other? His father prayed for him, and he didn't know how to play. He started playing. Just like that. Oh, hey, didn't the brother Savelle do that? Just like that. Just like that. You have a just like that around the corner. Are you expecting it? What's your just like that? You haven't arrived. David Ellis, hey, he's very successful as a praise and worship leader. The Lord moves through him. He ain't done. There's another just like that. There's another just like that for you in your life. But you got to wake up. You have a part to play. God, oh my goodness. You're not waiting on God. He's waiting on you. Well, God's just holding out. No, he's not. Are you hearing me? A lot of us have confused grace with faith. A CEO owns a company, and they're in financial trouble. So he meets with the board. The chair of the board says, hey, so what are we going to do? And the CEO says, we just got to pray. Oh, has it come to that? They use prayer as a last resort instead of their walking stick. Why are you using prayer as a last resort? If you had prayed in the first place and got the voice of God, the direction of God, you wouldn't be in that mess. Faith is not a tool for you to use as your last resort. And that's where you're missing it. That's where you're expecting God to be faithful to you, and you're not faithful. You're not faithful, but you want God to be faithful. You want God to be your genie. Right? That's what it comes down to. Lord, I want to live my life the way I want to, and when I'm in trouble, I want you to bail me out. Dear, you forgot the laws of reaping and sowing because he may help you, but you're going to reap what you sowed. Now, he can divinely come in, but that's a special circumstance, but the laws are reaping and sowing. Amen? We do got kids in here. Okay. How do I put this? If you have relations with someone out of marriage or whatever, and you repent, okay, fine. God forgives you, but you may still have a baby. You understand what I'm saying? Reaping and sowing. You may still have the results of that action, even though God forgives you. Okay? All right. So faith is not a tool that you use when you can't do something on your own. That's grace. Faith is not a tool that you use when you can't do something on your own. That's grace. I'm cleaning up here. Faith is believing and doing what God says no matter what. No matter what the circumstance or situation. Faith is, okay, I'm going to do it. Now, when that do it, which 9 times 10 it is beyond you, and that looks big, like walking on water, hey, faith carries you, and grace keeps you afloat. So when Peter started to sink, because he took his eyes off Jesus. Now, was he out there on his own, or was he out there on faith? Was he out there on his own, or was he out there on faith? Okay, he started to doubt, right? Did he drown? Fear came in. Did he drown? No. Grace saved him. That's grace. Grace saves you. God's not asking you to be strong enough. He's asking you to do. Trust me. I got you. You won't fall. You can't fail. You can't. When you step out in faith, you can't fail. That should hit you. When you do what God has called you to do, you can't fail. Say, I can't fail. So I will do. Okay. Once God calls for you to do, faith takes it and puts you into action, right? Because faith is believing and acting, right? And since God will call you to do something uncomfortable and even bigger than you, that's when grace comes in, steamrolls every obstacle and hindrance that you think is too small or too weak or too insignificant to handle. Faith is a tool that you never let go of. That's how faith and grace work together. Faith gets you going. By faith, I act. Grace carries me. Grace sees it through. Grace sees it through. Does that make sense? Okay. Luke chapter 17. Ooh, I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry. Okay, let's speed this up. Come on. Luke 17. Let's go start chapter 5. Luke 17, verse 5. The apostle said to the Lord, show us how to increase our faith. The Lord answered, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, may you be uprooted and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you. Not it may, but it will. It will obey you. Okay? When a servant comes in from plowing, did everybody give their faith a name yet? Did you give your faith a name? Give it a name, right? Real quick, right now. Give it a name. Faith is what? Okay, you got it? All right, good. Put your faith's name there. When servant so-and-so comes in from plowing or taking care of sheep, does his master say, come in and eat with me? No. He says, prepare my meal, put on your apron, and serve me while I eat. Then you can eat later. And does the master Okay. Does the master thank the servant for doing what he was told to do? Of course not. In the same way, when you obey me, you should say, we are unworthy servants who have simply done our duty. So what's Jesus saying here? He's saying that you should always use your faith, never let it rest. And it's not, your faith is supposed to be your servant. Just how we're servants to God. So when we do something for God, God says, oh, thank you. We're supposed to. Our reasonable response is, Lord, I love you. Faith is your servant. Why is it resting? Why isn't your faith doing something? On someone else's behalf. Stop thinking about your pocketbook. You know what? You never have to ask God for a need. Do you know that? Not if you're a tither and a sower, a giver. The Bible says he already knows what you have need of. Declare it and go. We should be using the sword of the Spirit to progress. We should be using the sword of the Spirit to progress the word, to help and encourage others, not for ourselves. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to do, your cup's going to overflow. Luke 6:38, right, says, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure pressed down, shaken together, running over shall men give into your bosoms. Pride comes in. I don't want that. I don't need your help. How do you think God's going to bless you? How is God supposed to help you? Men will give into your bosom. No, Lord, you got to send an eagle, a German Shepherd, St. Bernard, or one of those things on his neck. Don't tell God how to work. He works through others. Get rid of pride. Receive it. Okay? Faith is a servant that should always be out in the field working on your behalf. The biggest mistakes we make as Christians is that we tell ourselves that we can handle this on our own. We don't need to use our faith. Do you say that to yourself? Oh, I can do this on my own. Oh, I know the way home. That's okay. I know the way home. How many of you guys got Waze, the GPS Waze? You know, Google Maps is good, but it doesn't give you real-time traffic situations, right? But Waze does. Waze knows where the traffic is. Waze knows where the cop is up ahead. It does. There's a cop to your right. Who the hell did you break? Waze, I tell you. You might know the way home, right? But you need Waze. Waze to get you out of a jam. Yes, this is the quickest way home. However, there is an accident up ahead. So if you go left right here, it'll save you 12 minutes. Well, that's the Holy Spirit. I know you know the way. I know you can do it on your own. But why not go the best way? Why not go God's way? What's it hurt? Look at all the people missing for this good word. Right? You guys should be like, hey, man, yeah, Pastor, we love you. Instead, you laugh at me. Okay. Did I finish it? No, I didn't. Where am I? Oh, yeah, I did finish it. Okay. Man, I really need my other hand. Okay. Quick examples of ways you should be using your faith. Oh, can I use my faith all the time? Well, how? Well, first off, when dealing with others. When you deal with others, what to say, how to say it, if you should say it. Dealing with others. Saying what you should say, not what you want to say. I had to check myself last night because a lot of things Carmen and I, we wanted to say. We wanted to say a lot. We said, yeah, you know, and just don't. Use your faith when dealing with others. Use your faith when traveling. We already mentioned that. You have somewhere to go. Well, should I fly there? Should I drive there? What airline should I take? Southwest or Spirit? Southwest. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Southwest. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. American Airlines, Delta, TWA, PSA. Y'all like, this is old. Some of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. You guys remember PSA? You remember PSA, right? You guys are older than me. Come on. You know PSA, TWA, AirCal. Remember AirCal? It was in California. AirCal. Remember AirCal? Oh, anyway. Okay. When you're shopping, when you're at work, when you're at school, use your faith. You know the job that you're on, you're planted there for a reason. You don't like it, promote out. Show yourself faithful. Do what God's called you to do where you are. God will get you out of there. You shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs either. If you're working 2 or 3 jobs to get your needs met, that simply means God is not your source. You are. Yep, I said it. Keeping things up, keeping things juggling. Something's out of whack. Something ain't right. We gotta face these hard truths, guys. You're working to meet your own need, is what's happening. And God's not your source. Now, if he told you to work 3 jobs for some odd reason, okay, do it. But if you're working 3 jobs and you're not a tither, that's why you're working 3 jobs. I kid you not. Only time you should work 3 jobs is if he put you there on assignment on behalf of someone. It's not for money. It's not for a check. You should be able to drop it and leave it like that if God tells you to. But if he tells you to leave and you're considering, oh, but I got this light bill that's due. My mortgage is due. My rent's due. Jesus is not Lord in your life if that's the case. When it comes to faith, never draw back. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38 says, now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul have no pleasure in him. If you stop using your faith, let's just say you become successful, and so now you start taking things on yourself. And you stop using your faith. Now that can happen. King David fell into that a little bit, where he took his eyes off of God fully. And then Nathan had to come in, after Saul was Nathan, a priest. And he had to give him a story about someone else. Hey, there's a guy, a very wealthy man with tons of sheep. And one day he looked over the fence and saw a beautiful sheep at his neighbor's. And he only had one sheep. But he coveted that sheep and says, oh, I want that sheep. And then he went, took that sheep. Well, that arose David's anger. And he was like, who? Who did this? And Nathan was like, you. He was like, huh? Huh? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Nathan? Yes, man. Am I too old? Y'all ask no Arnold. Y'all act like I'm crazy. Y'all know different strokes. He's like, that pastor crazy. I don't know what he's talking about. What you talking about, Nathan? Okay. In the New Living Translation, my righteous ones will live by faith, but I will take no pleasure in anyone who turns away. The only way to please God is faith. Okay. What time is it? 10:40? Is that 10:40? Is that right? 10:42? Have you used your faith today? Right? That should check you. If you haven't, that's okay. You're in the right place. That's what I'm telling you this. Use your faith all the time. I'm not here to embarrass you. We're here to learn so we can go out and guess what? Kick the devil's butt. Help overcome with someone else. Someone else needs the word to overcome. You're that vessel. Don't stay quiet. Don't shut up. Well, I might hurt their feelings. Well, you better let hurt their feelings now than spend the rest of their life in hell, or the devil take them out before their time. Stop staying silent. Speak up. There's a friend. Friends don't let friends go to hell. Friends don't let friends stay broke. Friends don't let friends struggle. Friends don't let friends stay sick. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Okay, so they'll come out of a club drunk. You're not going to take the keys? Take them home, call an Uber? Oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. That's the equivalent of what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Saints, let's turn this state around. Let's turn our nation around, right? I pray that you just continue to draw in those who are seeking you. Draw them in. Those who are being prayed for. You're the laborer that others, hey, someone in New York could be praying for laborers coming across the path of their family member or friend, loved one. And guess what? You're that laborer. Like Dr. Savelle said yesterday, oh, dude, I was just tired. You're tired? So someone may die early from sickness. Someone may lose their business because you're tired. Because you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. Because you're tired. Lord, I want to be a vessel of gold. I want to be a vessel of gold. Send me. Who was that he quoted? He said someone last night. He says, I don't want anything to happen without me being involved. Let's just sum it all. Lord, as long as I'm alive, I want to be in it. If something great's happening, if there's a revival that's going to happen in any part of the world, Lord, let me be in the center of it. I want to be a part of it. Send me, use me in some kind of way. Right? If there's a revival, Brother David Ellis, he said, I want to be right there on the keys. Right? When the embassy, the U.S. Embassy moved to Jerusalem, like so many presidents have promised, and finally it happened, when the embassy was moved to Jerusalem, the U.S. Embassy moved to Jerusalem, right? He was there. That's a historical event. You can't ever take that away. If you see pictures of this massive historical event, you're going to see his picture there. You're going to see him there. That's something to desire. Lord, let me be the next one. I could be a driver. I could set the mic. I could put batteries in the mic. Let me be a part some kind of way. Lord, I don't want anything to happen that you're behind without me being involved. That's your desire. Not, Lord, let me learn the next dance and put it on TikTok. See how the devil has come and just, anyway, let me get off that. Okay. John chapter 40. Oh, wait. So without faith, it's impossible to please God. Ask yourself, what am I doing that doesn't please God? Ask yourself, what am I doing on my own apart from God? Now in John chapter 5, verse 30, this is something that should hit you. In John chapter 5, verse 30, Jesus said, I can of myself do nothing. This is Jesus. Is Jesus the Son of God? Yeah, of course, we know he was stripped of his divine power when he got here, that sort of thing. But was Jesus the Son of God? Well, he said, I can of myself do nothing. So anything that he did that was apart from God, anything that you do apart from God is considered nothing. How many of you done nothing this week? Right? Oh, well, I did this, and this. Okay. Was God in it? Jesus said, I can of myself do nothing. But as I hear, I judge. What does that mean? I'm not going based on what I think. I'm not going based on what I feel. I'm not going based on what the political situation is, the political climate is today. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is right, because I do not seek or consult my own will, but only the will or the pleasure of the Father that sent me. That's kind of like we should live. Everything you hear, judge it. Is that insecurity talking? Is that me talking? Am I being self-conscious? Am I envying? Am I being angry? As I hear, I judge. Now, why is his judgment correct? Because he's not seeking his own will. He's not seeking to fatten his pockets. That's not what he's seeking. He's seeking to please God. Are you seeking to please God? Are we seeking? This is the pastor section right here. Look at it. This is the save section. We seeking to please God, or are we seeking to please ourselves? It should be God. This is what's missing, saints. People come up here and they do it on their own, and they do it for their own benefit. They come in, there's so many people that take the pulpit. When I was called, I ran. How many years? 2? I ran for 2 years, and then I said yes, but then I still, I was called in 2009. I ran all the way until like 2011, and it was at Eagle Mountain Church, wasn't it? I was at Eagle Mountain Church in Newark, Texas, just outside of Fort Worth. And some lady, I've never seen her before. I've actually looked for her. I'm not saying she's an angel or anything. I'm just trying to find her so I can, push her. No, I'm just kidding. Push her down. Well, I'm coming in, and it was Mark, right? It was Deacon Mark, his wife Shannon. Who's with us? Oh, a couple other people who are not here today. They're supposed to be here, but they live in Vegas now. And we walk in, and she's like, "Hello, good to meet you." She was nice and friendly and greeting. Brunette, curly hair. I know her face. I'm looking for her. And she said, "Oh, so are you their pastor?" I said, "No. You put that out there. There's power in words, right?" I'm like, "Counsel them words now." I said, "No, I'm not." And the other guy who was with us, he goes, yeah, pastor. I said, "Dude," I used to get stern with him. I said, "Don't say that. I'm not your pastor. Don't you look to me. Don't look to me." The reason why I ran from it is because I know the heavy responsibility and accountability that you're held. So you guys are held to a level of accountability. Well, those in a fivefold are held to a higher account. Well, I'm barely keeping good control of myself. How am I going to look over you suckers? You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? It's a heavy account. You don't run to the pulpit like that. You don't run to the pulpit. You got to be called. It's not a job. "Oh, I want to be a fireman. Oh, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a preacher." If you knew the heavy account that you're held to, you won't run there. But so many people run to the pulpit because they have this certain abstract view of, if you're at a church and the only person getting wealthy is the preacher, leave. Leave. They're manipulating you. It's witchcraft. It's witchcraft. They're tickling your ears. They're letting you, "Hey, you want to hear this?" And you get them all motivated and encouraged. I can't stand. You will never see me get you motivated and encouraged off of feelings and emotion. Oh man, I can't stand that. Because after about an hour or two, if that, it wears off. And you're back in the same boat. But if you got to hear with faith, your faith built up, now, one word from God, and you believe it, it'll change your life. It will change your life, and you can never go back. How do you think I'm telling you this story? Because it was significant in my life. So to finish it, she said, "Yeah, no, you're their pastor." I said, "No, I'm not." She went on, sat us in the e-member section at Eagle Mountain, and I thought we left her at the front door. And so we're sitting there and doing praise and worship, and it's packed because it's the week of Southwest Believers Convention. I forget what year, 2011, I guess it was. And we're doing praise and worship, we're just there, whatever. And then all of a sudden I feel, on the back of my shoulder. I look around. She's sitting behind me. I said, where you come from? I said, what? I look back. I'm all, you're supposed to be at the door. But anyway, she goes, you're the pastor, and you're running. You're running from him. I was like, lady, get on my business. Bah! I'm just kidding. But I was like, oh, leave me alone, lady. I just kept going. Pastor Terry Pearson came in the middle of worship, and she started giving a word. The God has called you to do this and that kind of thing, and you're running from them all. I said, well, what is this? This is set up Rodney Day? And I'm listening. I'm just kind of listening. And then I look over at Carmen. She's writing. I'm like, okay, maybe she's just writing what she's saying, whatever. And then on my shoulder again, I said, okay, I'm going to call her Usher or something. She's bugging me. She gives me this long letter. She's back there writing. I'm like, you supposed to be here listening to them, not messing with me. And she gives this long letter. I felt like I was like pressure. Like I was like, oh my goodness, like, okay. Carmen gives me what she's writing, and she's all of a sudden a prophet, and I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, where'd that come from? And so she's giving me this. I'm like, what are you talking about? And Terry's up there, and she's giving the letter. I was like, oh my goodness. And I gave the letter to Carmen. I'm like, look what this letter's wrote in. And I remember just sitting there. I don't even remember the message because I was sitting there and I remember like before the service was over, I said, okay. And I took like a really deep breath, like, okay. And it was like, you remember the Wizard of Oz, how it starts off in black and white? And then when it comes to color, it's like, ooh. It was like that feeling. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, and then when we got outside, the service was over, we got outside, and I looked at the people, I said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. They're all, yeah, I'm all. And here we are. I'm not going to finish, so, all right. Anyway, okay. I'm going to close with this. I really am going to close this. I don't have the four closes like Dr. Savelle. So let your faith define who you are, not the world. Don't let the world imprint themselves on you. Let the word imprint itself on you. Appropriate the word. When I look at you, I want to see God in action. The world should see God, because that's how they come and run to you. Amen? Don't let the world define you. Faithfulness is not only being consistent. People think faithfulness is being consistent. Oh, he's just so faithful. He's just so faithful. No, that's not true. Faithfulness is not consistent. Faithfulness is being consistent at using your faith consistently day in and day out. Faithfulness is consistently using your faith day in and day out. You can be consistent at doing your efforts. Does that please God? Does it please God if you're consistent at giving your effort? No. But if you're consistently living and walking by faith, if you're consistently doing a task by faith, that's faithfulness. That's what faithfulness is. Oh, he's just so faithful. Don't give them that title. That's not God's title. Faithfulness is consistently being faithful, consistently using your faith, not depending on your own works, your own strength, your own resource. It's not just being consistent. We have to be consistent at using our faith. That's how we're to live. In Philippians 4:13, it says, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Right? Say, I can do all things. And then, through Christ. Yeah, and I just did something I really don't like because, people say, all things work together for the good. No, they don't. All things work together for the good for those who love him and call according to his purpose. So I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Right? Okay. Here we go. In Luke 1, verse 37, it says, with God, all things are possible. Say, with God, all things are possible. Okay. So what can your faith do? We're going to end with this. In Mark 11, chapter 14, you don't have to turn there. You can curse a tree. Mark 11, 22 through 26 says you can move mountains. In Numbers 20, it says you can speak to a rock for water. Stop thinking about, oh, this is done in the past and that's just for them. No, it's been done. You can do it. You can do it. Greater works, that's right. Look at it, read my mail, because that's next. Mark 4 says you can control the weather. Matthew 14 says you can walk on water. Matthew 14:35, you can heal the sick by the masses. 2 Kings 4 and John 11 says you can raise the dead. In John 14:12 it says, greater works shall you do. And I've heard these religious people, see the Holy Spirit checked me there. You see that? See how the Holy Spirit works? I was about to say something else. He said, don't do that. I said, okay. Try to excuse it out and say, hey, you know what? The greater works meant, just leading people to the Lord. And that's salvation and that sort of thing. Why are you giving yourself a way out? Why are you giving yourself an excuse for your, trying to be nice, counterfeit faith? Why are you trying to make an excuse for your counterfeit faith? Oh, the greater works doesn't mean that. Oh, Acts, that's just for the people that in Acts. That's just for the apostles. No, you're just counterfeit. That's all. You guys love me still? Y'all looking like sucker. Faith makes all the difference. Faith makes all the difference. Sometimes faith will make you look stupid until it rains. You know it took over 100 years for Noah to build that ark? You don't think they're laughing at him? It never rained before? It never rained. Ha! Look at you, you built an ark so big it could never float. Look at that. Yeah. Not a cloud in the sky. Inside joke. You have built a ship so large it could never sail, even if a flood did come. This is what I grew up on. People will make fun of you. And faith may, for a season, make you look foolish until it rains. And then everyone will run to you. God promises to make your name great. Not so you can be some famous, no, because he trusts you that you will make his name great. Everybody knows who Tim Tebow is. Why? Because he's the greatest quarterback that ever, no. He's a good quarterback, but no. Why does everybody know who Tim Tebow is? Those who know who Tim Tebow. Why? His faith. That's why. That's why. Can God trust you?